Hey guys, I had chapter 5 with generating a mental image. Now, a mental image is exactly what the wording is saying. It's an image that you mentally are picturing in your head, which can be caused by someone saying a certain word, a sentence. It's all based off of a memory or an experience that you have had once in your life. Now, we don't really give it enough credit that is due. All we think is it's a picture in your head. Nothing more, nothing less. However, there is so much more to a mental image. You can have this picture in your head, yes, but you remember the taste of what the object was. You can hear the sounds that it makes. You can feel it, and you can probably smell it if you can taste it. So it kind of brings back tons of things. Now, this is just an everyday experience, you would think. However, how are we going to use this in a classroom? But using it in a classroom can actually take your lesson from just an ordinary lesson to one that's going to stick out to a student years from when they had you. So, I kind of want to show you an example of what a mental image is. So, close your eyes and just think of when you were 5 years old. You are a little kid that's in your warm bed. You have all of your stuffed animals around you. But through the window, you can see the beams of light coming in. And you know it's morning and it's time to wake up, but you really just want to stay in your warm bed. You can hear all the birds chirping outside. You can hear your siblings that are already awake running around the house. You can hear dad mowing the grass. But then all of a sudden, you can hear the best sound of all. Mom is cooking breakfast downstairs. So you rush out of your bed, you run down the steps, and you hit the last step, and your feet touch the cold wood floor. And all in an instant, you can feel shivers going from all the way from your toes up to your nose. And you're just cold, wishing you were back in that warm bed. But you know you're on a mission. You gotta get that breakfast that mom's cooking. So you step into the kitchen. You can smell the warm pancakes that have just been placed on the table. You see the orange juice. You can hear mom cooking the pancakes and the bacon in the back. The bacon is sizzling on the skillet, and you're just ready to eat. Well, in that moment, you just went through all of your five senses. You could hear, you could taste, you could see, you could feel, and you could smell all of that. And it made you think of when your mom made you breakfast. It made you think of all those images. And that's actually something great for our lesson planning one day. If we can make our students sit down and create a picture of what they're learning in their head, then we don't have children who are listening to us give a lecture with glazed over eyes and it's going in one ear and it's going out the other ear. We're actually having children that want to be in the classroom. But how can we use this in the classroom? Because our class in general, we have a mission to be in all different kinds of fields in the education world. But just take it as this. What if you have a student who just cannot grasp a topic? So, for instance, it's math. This little girl just cannot get her adding. So, during your free time, when all the other kids are doing homework, you pull her over to your desk and you know a little about her background and you realize, hey, she loves to bake with her mom. So, we're going to make this a word problem and maybe she'll understand it this way. So, you tell her, okay, you have all of your ingredients out. You and your mom just made your favorite chocolate chip cookies in the whole world. And the best part is they're already out of the oven and you and your sister are just sitting there waiting for them to cool down. However, you have two cookies on the left side and two cookies on the right side. But your mom says you have to share equally with your little sister. Okay, so she's thinking, so I have to share equally with her. And then you ask, so how many cookies do you have all together? And she's going to tell you right off the bat, oh, I have two cookies and there's two cookies on this side, so we have a total of 4 cookies. And right in that moment, you can remind her, so then you're telling me 2 plus 2 is 4? And that's when the aha moment's going to happen, and she's going to see, wait a second. So my everyday life goes in with education. And that's when you can kind of get the ball rolling as, yeah, exactly. Everything you're learning is going to be applied to your life one day. And all that would have been done just through the idea of a mental image. And all of this sounds kind of far-fetched, but that's kind of what we need to do with these topics. We need to take them and kind of see the direction that we're being taught where they need to go and just keep going with it. But the next problem is, this is such a general idea that how are we going to base this with our kiddos that want to be in the 21st century? They want fast and they want it now. So how can we take a normal idea that's based off of their brain power and put it into technology? Well, Google actually is one of the best ways to do it. Google Slides creates that ability for you. You can make a PowerPoint easy. Most teachers nowadays like to put only a few words on a PowerPoint, and there's a lot of kids that will read the first sentence and they'll start realizing, hey, this history fact actually goes with something that I've learned before that applies to my life. And they'll start thinking about how maybe a president had something in common with something they have in common. And it's that moment of them realizing, oh, so I see the bigger picture. I can be a part of this whole world. And even if you use Google Slides and just put up a simple little picture, the student can look at it and see that a picture is worth more than the picture we're putting up. They can add on to it, and they're going to learn that they see it in a different way than their best friend that's sitting right beside them. So, yes, this is a very basic idea, and it is kind of hard to understand how exactly we might want to use it, but it's all going to be based off of your own classroom. And it's not really a skill we can just use and use and use over again. It's mostly a skill that you're going to have to use on certain students, because you might have a child that just cannot understand anything that's going on in the classroom, and they need an image like that because their imagination is so strong that if you give them a mental image, right away they understand. But then there's other students that you can't use mental images with because they have no imagination at all. And there are students that are going to have no imagination. And we have to be able to know how to use it in both ways. But using mental images can really create a better classroom for you one day because they're basing pictures off of their heads. However, you're also going to teach them how to collaborate with other students off of this idea that we're learning in this book, because they'll see, well, my teacher gave me this bit of information and I saw it this way, but my partner sees it this way. And then you're kind of realizing, oh, so we can use both of our ideas in a positive role, and putting them together, we come up with something greater. And that's really why I think using the idea of mental images will create your lesson to go way farther than you ever planned it to go. So, I have 2 questions for you guys. Number 1 is, how could you apply a mental image into your classroom? It's kind of hard because we all come from different backgrounds on where we want to go with our education. So just how would you use it in your daily classroom? And how would you be able to show your students that this is a technique to keep growing on? Okay, thanks.